Welcome to the exciting and new mini podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
I'm Dana.
And I'm Zach.
Welcome back, Zach.
Thanks.
I don't know if that did anything different. I could hear you pressing every one of them to unmute them.
I don't know if it did either. But I've been listening the last couple of times when I hear it happen. I'm just like, I just hear this.
I just heard like every little.
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't make any
So
difference.
I don't know if it's going to change anything or if you're going to hear something. Or maybe you don't hear that. Maybe I just heard that.
It's our unproduction value, our non-production value.
That's what makes us cute. What do you... Zach's here, everybody. Welcome back, Zach.
Thanks for having me back.
Zach just presented us with an award for his trivia night win. His movie
Congratulations on your win, and thank you for the award.
I felt like this was the best place for it.
I should bring my trophy back in from work. I hung it there when I won the Star Wars trivia on the cruise ship I was on in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was so proud of myself. I beat a room full of people.
Was it the entire franchise?
Yeah, it was all over the place, too. I mean, and it was, not to get in the weeds too much, but every night on this cruise ship there was trivia night, and we all went as a family to do it. And the one night Star Wars, no one else wanted to do it, so I went by myself. And the room was packed, like 200 people. And I'm doing it by myself, and I'm pretty confident in my abilities. And then, I guess to prevent cheating, you had to give your test to another person to grade.
Oh, it was like a paper.
Yeah. It was like 15 questions. You had to write them all down.
Wow.
And I won. I got 14 right. And it was funny because I was grading some like 12-year-old kid's paper, and one of the questions was, what's Anakin Skywalker's mom's name? And I put Shmi because I knew it was Shmi, but the kid put Mrs. Skywalker. And I was like, dude, I'm giving you a point. I'm giving you a point, man. I'm like, that's thinking outside the box. Although she wasn't, probably never married. It's probably more like Ms. Skywalker, but it's okay.
Wait, what did you win?
I won a highlighter, a Royal Caribbean highlighter, because that's what they gave away every trivia thing. And I won like a medal that looks like. Well, it doesn't look like the Star Wars medal, but it's got the Royal Caribbean logo on there.
Nice.
So it's hanging in my office now for people to walk in and be like, what's that all about? I'm like, let me tell you what that's all about.
That's what you're going to say. Shmi. I haven't heard her first name in a while. It took me a second. Then
I'm not even 100% sure if that's how you pronounce it. It's pronounced like...
I think that's how it's S-H-M-I, right? Yeah, Shmi, that's how I would say it.
I did not know that.
That's good that you don't.
Yeah.
Proud of you for not knowing that.
Do you know the name of the blue guy?
Which blue guy? Max Rebo?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's whenever, just to be like, a jerk, whenever anybody asks me my favorite Star Wars character.
Is that who it is?
I say that one.
Yeah. Do you don't say the blue elephant guy that's playing
Max
Jones?
Rebo.
Well,
those are actually his feet, right?
Playing the keyboard?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that I'm not sure.
I think.
So it's because everybody always says, Han Solo or Chewbacca. And stuff
Just
like
because
that.
nobody's going to know who that is. And
then you find the geeks. They're like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the cool people would say Boba Fett, but that's not cool anymore. Saying Boba Fett's not cool.
I mean, he was my favorite character for the longest time, but I still, to this day, and I have a T-shirt of him, Bib Fortuna. Is one of my favorite characters, yeah.
Who was the little cackling guy that was next to...
Oh, Salacious Crumb?
Salacious Crumb, yeah. That guy, too.
Danny,
I have no idea what's happening.
No?
I don't know what's going on.
Do we sound cool? Because we know all this stuff?
Yeah, these are very
It's
cool.
the coolest.
You guys are really, really cool.
I got to be honest. My mini notes are just a continuation of the stuff I've been watching.
All right, well,
Fargo, Bodies.
I watched Violent
Curse.
Night.
Did you watch
Did you
it?
see that?
Yeah.
I did not see it.
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Violent
That's David Harbour.
Okay.
It's a Christmas
Home invasion type
horror
of
kind of
I
thing.
think it came out last year in the theaters, right? Like this time last year.
Mm-hmm. It's on Prime now if you want to watch it.
Was it good?
Yeah,
I liked it.
had
It
it.
was fun. Yeah.
Any names?
Just David Harbour, right?
Who
Am I to
were?
think about it? I don't think there was anybody else. Let me see. I don't.
No, there was somebody I knew from something.
Where was this on?
No, John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
Oh,
John
okay.
Leguizamo was in there. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
You said
It's
it's on Prime?
Amazon Prime. Yeah, Beverly D'Angelo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Edie Patterson's in there too.
How's how's Beverly D'Angelo looking these days?
She looked okay. I thought she looked nice. Yeah, but Edie Patterson, you know who that is, right?
Not by the name now. Who?
That's Gemstone, Judy Gemstone.
Oh, Judy Gemstone.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Did
she
you watch Gemstones, Righteous Gemstones?
I
Have you
watched
seen
the
it?
first season.
Love that show.
Yeah.
I like Leguizamo as the clown from Spawn.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I watched Fool's Paradise. That's the Charlie Day directed and starred in that one. He's a guy who has he's like a mute, and he's like the spitting image of a famous actor, and they're sick of this famous actor, so they basically bring in Charlie Day, the mute, to play.
He's not just mute; he's also like very naive. Like he doesn't know what's going on around him. It was funny. I like
completely,
that movie.
But it was a fun one. Then I went back to 1974 and I watched Black Christmas.
Hell yeah.
With Margot Kidder.
Yes.
Great movie. I like that a lot. And there was one new thing I watched this week. It's called The Bookie on HBO Max or Max.
The Bookie?
Yeah.
Like a gambling bookie?
Yeah, okay. Gambling bookie. Sebastian Maniscalco. Ray Romano was in the first episode. First 2 episodes are out. They're only 27 minutes, 22 minutes long. If you like gambling and if you like comedy, it's a mix of both. So,
that sounds like fun.
Yeah. The first 2 episodes are out on Max streaming. I enjoyed them, and that's my mini. I'm Jason.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, I think my son's friend cut us off from his HBO Max, so we got to figure out a way to start watching that stuff again.
Well, don't you have it on the...
I'm sure I could get it. Yeah, I just haven't looked for that one yet.
I watched a lot of really crappy stuff this week.
Nice.
Community and then Community.
I did actually watch a lot of Community, but that's not on the list. That's just a given. I watched a Doctor Who special on Disney. And
it's a 3-parter, isn't it?
Yeah, it was part 1. It was mid
Are you a Doctor Who person?
Mm-hmm.
She is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that about you.
I haven't watched like the last 2 seasons.
She's been with him since the 60s.
Yeah, since the 60s.
Since those PBS looking episodes?
Yeah. I've watched them all, but the last few seasons has just been kind of blah. But so I just really haven't felt like watching them.
Well, all the I don't watch it, but I do listen to a couple podcasts and they talk about it. It's a new Doctor coming on now, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like one of the things? It's always like a new Doctor, right?
Every
Isn't that
like
every couple
3
years?
The first guy, Christopher Eccleston, with just 1 season, and then it's usually like 3 seasons for each person after. But David Tennant was back for the special, so that's the only reason I watched it. I didn't even know it was out. I kind of fell off of knowing what was happening with that, and then I saw that he was in it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this. He was great. The companion who came back was great, but it was just
the companion is the woman that's always with them, or usually a woman.
Yeah, usually a woman. This one was she was from a few seasons ago. Well, many seasons ago. No, she was from many seasons ago. But yeah, so
my Doctor Who knowledge is like confined to like 2 episodes.
Yeah,
my buddy Anthony, a friend of the show, Anthony.
I've never watched an episode.
He was a Doctor Who fan, so I was at his house and would watch it with him and. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah.
When you said he came back, was he on previously?
He was a doctor for 3 seasons, and then what happens when they switch? Like they regenerate into the next version of the Doctor, or whatever. So he regenerated from the woman that was the Doctor into this one, who was already a Doctor before. To for whatever reason, so right. I don't know. I guess he's back in the next 3 parts.
A woman doctor,
I know.
Really? She's not going to perform surgery, is she? Like, I'm not letting her operate on me.
I don't know.
Did they? That show has those evil robot things,
yes,
right?
They have a couple different evil robots.
Are they the ones that go?
They go exterminate. They have yeah. They have
with a D, right? Isn't there something with a D?
Dalek.
That's what I was thinking.
Man, I don't know any.
I don't know it, but I just knew that. And there's a phone booth.
Is there like a thing?
It's not a phone booth. It's a police box. It's different.
It's a TARDIS.
A TARDIS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that word, and I think I
know that more from Big Bang Theory. Than I know it from
have you seen Sid and Nancy?
Yeah, the movie. Yeah.
Don't in that movie they're like walking in the hallway and I think they're quoting
Doctor Who.
They go exterminate.
Yeah, probably. That's
what
they say.
What
that
was.
They say it over and over again. Yeah.
Is that something they?
Tara hated that. She hated hearing exterminate because they would say it like 500 times.
Danger.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that. What was the video game? The Intruder Alert. What was that? Berserk.
What was that? Yeah.
Berserk. Was that Berserk?
I know that.
That was one of my favorite video games back in the day.
That's what they sound like, and it does get pretty annoying after a while. I also watched.
And you said
Fargo.
that's on Disney?
Yeah, it's on Disney.
Does Disney own Doctor Who now?
I don't know. It was always on BBC is where I would watch Doctor Who. So
Disney
I don't know.
BBC probably.
They probably did.
probably.
I remember it used to be on PBS back in the day, like when it was
I wonder
before
if it's
BBC
on
was available in America.
BBC
the whole
One,
Doctor
BBC
Who is on
3.
Disney or not.
BBC.
Like I'm not even sure. It might be. I should look because it was. I really did like it. But I also watched Fargo. But HBO put out some Yule logs, So they have a whole bunch of different Yule logs that you could watch, and one of them was Rick and Morty. So I was like, oh, so we put it on last night. And it's just them sitting on the chairs in front of the fireplace, but they're watching TV and they're watching Intergalactic Cable. So it just keeps switching between all the different...
Yeah.
Wait, so
like
it's
little
Rick
clips.
and Morty watching Rick and Morty?
They're watching Intergalactic Cable.
But they're watching
Are you
Intergalactic
watching?
Cable
You see
on
the
the
back of their
episode.
heads? Like,
You see the back of
so
their
it's like
heads.
Mystery
yeah.
Science Theater?
Yeah. So
I might have to check
and they
that
don't
out.
talk. They just, and once in a while Rick burps or whatever. And then the cable's on and you just see different clips. You don't hear any sound, but it just scrolls through like a bunch of the different ones that you've seen before in their
Yeah.
episodes.
Did they put out their holiday episodes? I told you how they put out all the TV
They
episodes
did.
for
And
Christmas.
HBO, I think, had one of the Rick and Morty's, but it was a season 6 Christmas one, and I haven't seen that season or season 5, so I didn't watch it.
Man, I fell off that show so fast.
Me too.
Like through
Yeah.
season 3, I was all in.
I
Season
think I got
4
to season
sucked.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go back. I think I watched the first season 5 episode, and I was like, I think I'm done.
I know. That happens with Dan Harmon a lot. Community is another example of that.
Yeah, but you celebrate the entire catalog on
I do.
Community.
I do. But it's quite,
Even
it's
at
a little
sixth season.
boring when you get to,
It's-
yeah.
It's
There's
unedited.
some good ones.
Or it's not unedited. It's
After Donald
It's not-
Glover and
there's
Chevy Chase
curse
are
yeah,
done.
words.
it's cursing. And
Oh,
everything.
really?
Yeah, because it was on Yahoo. Yahoo or you?
Yahoo,
yeah. Whatever. I'm still waiting for the movie, so I don't care. Keep watching it.
Are they still doing? Is there?
Yeah,
But is it
saw a thing
officially
with-
said like
Yeah.
they're working on it? Is it script out there? Is it?
I know. I saw because I
Chevy
think
coming
the no, I think the strike halted it. But I saw an interview. Someone was asking Joel McHale about it, and he said it's still on. So, that's fine. Then
Is
I watched.
Donald Glover in that? Did we know?
He
Not
hasn't
confirmed?
said, but if he's not in it, it's
Not
not
worth
going
it.
to be the same. I'll still watch it a lot, but it's not
A
going to be the
lot.
same. A lot. But anyway, and then I watched 4 Christmas movies this
my
week.
God.
I watched
What?
Fat Man with Mel Gibson, which was
Very
pretty good.
good.
Tara did not like it. She
I
was like,
you
it
like-
was not good.
you
that
watched
newer?
That's what I told you about. 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's this little boy gets coal for Christmas, so he's pissed. So he hires a hitman, Walton Goggins, to take out Santa Claus.
That's another reason why
Yeah.
I think you like it a
Oh my
lot.
god!
is
Of
Walton
course,
Goggins.
Walton
Sounds
Goggins was
familiar.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then 3 new ones. One called Genie with Melissa McCartney. So if you're not a
I've
Melissa
seen
McCartney
that advertised.
fan,
McCarthy.
McCarthy. That was pretty good. I liked it. It was funny. Then I
Paul
watched
McCartney.
a new one on
Paul McCarthy.
Paul McCarthy.
yeah, Paul McCarthy, on Netflix called Family Switch with Ed Helms.
Is that Christmas?
Yeah,
Excuse me. I thought
it
it was
is.
Parent Trap.
It is Christmas. It's at Christmas time, but I didn't really get a feel that it was a Christmas movie until the end because it was Christmas and it's snowing. Otherwise, it was so Ed Helms, Jennifer
I did
Gardner.
watch another movie this week. Thank
Yeah,
you.
they
Have to
switched
say.
bodies with their son and
Oh,
daughter.
it's a spotty switching
It's-
movie?
yeah,
Oh
it
my
tri-
God.
it
I
was-
saw
I didn't know
the
he still did
commercial
those.
for it or whatever.
Yeah, it was kind of like a Freaky Friday, but the dad and the son as well
like
as the mom
Freaky
and the
Friday.
daughter. It wasn't as good as Freaky Friday, which is a great movie.
What was the Kirk Cameron one? Was that 18 again? With he switched with like
No, that was 17
17.
again with that was
It was Zac Efron.
Zac
wasn't it?
Efron and Chandler.
Yeah.
didn't
right?
Cameron?
But
he
Kirk
did.
Cameron did one with like Dudley Moore, I think, where they switched
Did Judge
bodies.
There
Reinhold
w-
do one?
Maybe I think I might be
Judge
getting them all mixed
Reinhold
up.
and the really old man who lived forever, George.
George Burns.
Was it George Burns?
Oh.
That was
Maybe.
that was 18 again.
That was
That was
18,
18
again.
again.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like you might be right about Kirk Cameron being in one.
There was like a period there where like 4 different body swapping movies
Yes.
came out within a year or
Yes.
two. It was like when both volcano movies
Like
came out.
father,
or-
like son is the
Is that
Dudley
what-
Moore.
that's it?
Kirk
Kirk
Cameron.
Cameron?
It was
Okay.
Dudley Moore and Kirk Cameron. That
I
is
saw
such
that
an
movie
odd
too. Like
combination.
father, like son. Yeah, 1987.
I watched about 15
We'll do it in a
minutes
few years.
years ago a Kirk Cameron religious movie.
That's
He
one of
was-
those,
he does. He does a lot of.
I
his
saw the
now.
first 15
Yeah,
minutes.
The
He was
Way.
a firefighter, and
He
him and
was
his
the firefighter?
he was a firefighter. Him and his buddies. There was a car stuck in the train tracks. There was like a kid in the car, couldn't
Stuck
get
in
him
a
out.
tree.
Yeah. So all his friends, his firefighter and him and his friends were trying to move the car off the train tracks by picking it up. And it was like a beetle or something. And they couldn't pick it up. So they like stopped. The train is coming. So they like prayed. They had faith. And then they were able to pick up the
They
car and
prayed
move
to
it.
get the train. Oh, I thought.
Yeah.
I love
I thought
that.
they prayed
Yeah.
and the train stopped, but they prayed.
No, and they were
got it.
able to lift up the car and took it off. And then I changed the channel. But I just thought, oh,
I don't know
so
which is
funny.
more impressive.
Jesus, stop the.
Yeah.
Jesus, stop
What
the
was
kid
that?
from
Did.
Hacks.
I don't know what it was on. It was a long time ago.
There were those movies. What were those movies that he did about the books that, like the
Way of the Master.
The Rapture books?
Is it The Way?
Oh yeah, where people get left. Yeah.
Left behind.
He did.
Is that what it's? Is that what they're called? Left
something
behind
like
or something
that.
like that?
Yeah. He's.
Oh my God.
His website is like that too. Or at
He
least
was such a
used to be.
childhood
Yeah.
crush of mine. I
would
thought he was
love
the
to have
best.
been in the room with the guy that converted him.
I know.
Like, because he was just a regular kid, and then some guy got in his head and said,
Yeah.
Jesus is the way. And
His sister's a
all of
little
I
like
was
that
just
too.
gonna ask, is Candace Cameron like that
She's
too?
very religious. She's
married to that hockey player
yeah,
too, right?
and she's
Pavel
very
Bure.
like one of those family first people, like keep families not gay, basically.
Oh,
like
is
one
she
of those people.
anti-gay and
Yeah,
all
she's
that?
one of those
Okay.
people. Yeah,
Isn't
I still like her.
Chris
Chris
Pratt.
Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt
Yeah.
goes to one of those churches or whatever, I believe. Yeah.
And that's why we're not supposed to like him anymore. I remember I was reading about that. Like, this is why we don't like Chris Pratt anymore. I'm like, why not?
Why do we have?
Like,
why does
because
somebody
he-
have to tell
because he
me
believes-
to like? I can like
because he
whoever I want to
believes in
like.
God.
I know,
was
but
like,
I
oh.
think like
not a
he was wearing off
Scientologist?
on people anyway, so he was really outstaying his welcome a little bit. I feel like.
I did
Chris
watch a
Pratt?
Christmas movie this
Yeah,
week
a
too.
little
I'm
bit.
going to see. You got one more Christmas
I
movie.
do.
Let's see if it's the one I
This was
watched.
called Xmas.
Oh, it's not the one I watched.
No,
No.
it was on Freevee, and it was stupid. But we watched it because it was a Christmas movie, and Leighton Meester was in it, and she's from Gossip Girl. Not that you guys would know. Oh, you know who she is?
No, I know Gossip Girl.
Okay,
yeah.
no Gossip Girl. Well, she's on Gossip Girl.
I watched on Netflix Best Christmas Ever
Oh, I started
with
that.
Jason
Yeah.
Biggs, Heather Graham, and Brandy.
Brandy. Was it good?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, I'll have to finish that.
Stupid if you like a
Yeah.
Christmas movie, but fun.
Yeah.
You know, I had fun with
I like that.
Christmas movies are stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you just got to know most times they're going to be stupid.
Well, you have to, because usually Santa's alive in those. Like, Santa's a
Yeah.
real person. It's like, that
What
makes
are
it
you trying to
stupid.
say?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, most of the ones I
we're
watch are
sorry.
like rom-com Christmas
This is an
movies.
intervention to let you know
I
that
forgot
Santa's
that.
not real.
I forgot that that's still a thing, and now that my kids are so much older, even all my nephews and nieces are so much older,
Yeah.
that doesn't come up anymore. And I was talking to my boss's kid yesterday at work, and I was about to say, like, "What's your dad?" And I was like, "What's Santa?" I was like mid sentence, and I thought I gave myself a stroke when I did. I was like, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you're still one of those
So
kids.
what's a 6-year-old asking for Christmas for this year? Did he tell you?
He was like talking about like Legos and Matchbox
Okay.
cars and stuff like that.
That's like what's on my list.
Yeah, I was like, not. He has a Switch, so he wanted Switch games.
Okay.
But like hardcore, like Call of Duty and what's the car one?
Gran Turismo?
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I looked at Charlie. I was like, good luck
Grand
with
Theft
that.
Auto for a 6-year-old. Although I know my nephews started playing that at a younger age too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
they all did.
It makes them better drivers. Zach, what are you up to, man?
Well, are you done?
Yep, I'm done.
I've got a couple actually.
nice.
As you know, or you should know. Well, I know Jason knows because I
I
told
know.
you. Barnes & Noble always, around this time of year, does that Criterion sale where everything's half off. So I went there and picked up a movie called Thief. Have you seen that?
Not that I'm aware
I
of.
don't
It's
think so.
Michael Mann's first movie.
Okay.
It has kind of some of the same elements as Heat.
Yeah. By the way, they're making a Heat 2. I don't know if you heard that. I didn't hear anything else about it, but there is a Heat 2.
Well, I was impressed by the cinematography and everything. It for a first movie, I thought it was really
Yeah.
good. Starred James Caan. And
What year is this around?
This was,
Like
let me
70s or 80s? I'm trying to think of Michael Mann. Like when I first heard about him, he was like the 80s already. So I don't know. He was like a little younger
I
than.
want to say 80. It was 81.
Okay.
James Caan, awesome.
So we just missed it for the podcast.
And Jim Belushi, which I never liked him in many movies. I never thought he was really that funny, but this was a drama, and I thought he was pretty good.
That's early for Jim Belushi too. 81. I mean, John just died in 80.
Yeah.
So that's crazy that
Hey, John didn't die in 80. He died in like 83.
John Belushi really.
Yeah,
He died
right?
in 80. Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I'll get on
it's
that.
kind of hard to live in the shadow of that kind of
Yeah.
comedian, but
He
I thought
never
he did a
heard-
good job.
He was
I never
alive
heard
when
about
Fear
him.
was on SNL, and that was 82, I
Oh,
think.
was it? Okay.
He died March 5th, 1982.
82.
So
So
you're
I'm
in the
surprised.
middle.
I didn't hear about Jim Belushi until after John died. So
Yeah. I was surprised to see him. I mean, he did a pretty good job, I thought, because he did like all those canine movies and stuff.
I
yeah,
remember
I forgot about
K9. That was
this.
so big.
Didn't
he have a TV show? What was
Yeah,
his
the TV show with
Yeah.
Courtney Thorne
Gordon
Smith.
Thorne Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that called?
Was that according to Jim? Was that
Yes.
what that was?
I could not remember.
He's
but
like
I know
alpha
that's
I
it.
never
male
saw an
type.
episode of it.
Yeah.
But
That was good.
Okay.
And really good soundtrack by Tangerine Dream in that movie. I also watched. I got a couple. I got two more. I watched Scanners.
Nice.
Okay.
Because they had that also Criterion
It's a
half
fun
off.
one.
And I go thrifting a lot, and I pick up like random VHS tapes of stuff. And I found this movie. I sent you a picture of it. You were talking about like the like Christian movies or whatever.
I think the hell dogs are barking because we're talking about Christian things.
Dude, this movie, it was called The Buttercream Gang.
Oh.
Never heard about it.
This
Sounds
movie-
sexy though.
Yeah.
Well, it was produced by like some ministries. It was like a family movie. It's got like questions on the back to ask your kid or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Do you
This
want to do a
movie-
little buttercreaming, son?
It was so good bad.
Show us where they touched you on this doll.
It was 1992, and it's about this small town group of kids that like do good deeds for the community, and they're called the Buttercream Gang.
Okay.
And one of them moves to Chicago to be with his aunt or something, and while he's there, he gets involved with like
MS-13.
Yeah, exactly, like a real gang. He comes back. I swear to God,
Tatted up.
no, he comes back to this town, and in order to like show the audience that he's changed, he's got like a bandana.
well,
he's got only the top. His shirt button is only buttoned at the top. Yeah.
Did he join Latin Kings? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
And he starts like stealing from the local store and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was so, and this is something you would never have heard of, you know.
Did they give him
99 cents.
Did they give him a buttercream beatdown after that when he came back?
No,
to
you know
town?
what they decide to do is to love him in spite of his flaws. So they just start letting him, the store owner, because he tries to rob the store, and the guy goes, "Well, I'll just give you the money. That way, you're not robbing the store." And they just accept
I need to
him.
move to this
I don't
town.
know.
Right. So he gives up because they like the power of love or whatever. It was really good. It was good bad.
Sounds awesome. You
It does
picked
sound like
you picked that up, and it was
Yeah.
$1 or less, 50 cents. And
I love stuff like that.
you
where I'm
decided
like,
to buy that, huh?
yeah, who was in
But
this?
you're gonna find the gem every now and then too.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, where is this actor now? Like, who produced this? I love stuff like that. So I watched that as well.
That's why you win trivia contests like you did.
It's on YouTube. You can watch it. It's really bad.
Jay, didn't you do something fun this week?
Oh yeah, I went to see Jerry Seinfeld Friday night.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
In Atlantic City. Mario Joyner was the opener.
No
Yes,
way.
yeah.
Okay, good.
He did like 15 minutes.
Who
And
is that? Is that somebody?
He's an old comedian from the 70s and 80s
Oh,
as well.
okay.
He was in like 1 or 2 episodes of Seinfeld. I think
Oh,
2
okay.
episodes of Seinfeld. He's in the Puerto Rican Day flag one that they don't show that often.
Well, I don't think they
he's
show
in
it
a
anymore
car.
at all.
He's in the car in one scene, and then he's in another episode with Death Blow. He's coming out of the movies with Jerry.
Okay,
Whatever
right.
at one point. And they're
Death
like,
Blow.
"We saw that." But he does 15 minutes, and then he runs off stage, and then Jerry comes out, and he's like, "Hey!" And he goes right into Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, he was like complaining about this. What's the deal with this? And he went, "Wait a minute, what's the deal with that?" And he was just talking about, it was good.
How long did he
That's the
perform
first
for?
time I ever saw Jerry. He performed for a solid hour.
Good.
And then he asks people in the crowd, all right, he runs off, then he comes right back out like an encore kind of thing. And he says, all right, now ask me some questions. I'm going to let you guys ask me some questions. So he took about like 5 or 6 questions. And he said, thank you. And he walked off. That was it.
Did anybody
Wow.
ask any important questions?
No, they all asked him like a Seinfeld reunion. And he was like, no. So great.
That's the only thing anybody cares about. Just
And then
tell us more Seinfeld
people
stuff.
were asking him other things, and he's like, "That's the question you're going to ask me?" He's like, "That's what you're going to ask me." I couldn't
Yeah.
hear. You can't hear all of them, so they're like, and I'm like, "What was the question?"
Did you yell a question?
I wanted to ask him what he thought of Mark Norman, but I didn't get it out.
Okay.
So I was unable to get it out. But if he looked my way, I was going to ask him because I was 7th row. I had decent seats. I was right along the side there, but it's pretty good.
And you were supposed to go see another show last night. I don't think Dana heard this, so
Yeah, I
I
didn't
kind of
I didn't see David Spade last night.
Why?
Because Philadelphia, apparently there was so much going on in Philadelphia yesterday that I was unaware of.
Oh.
That I got caught in traffic, and I got caught behind an accident at one point, and I did not get in. I couldn't find parking. I was in a parking garage. I went all the way up to the top. There was no parking, yet there was no sign outside that said no, that it was full. So I came all the way back down, and I just left, and I went to another garage. That one I went to go into, it was already said it was full. So I went around to a third one. That was full. I said, fuck it. And
Wow.
Apparently, there was a parade in Philly yesterday, and there was a comic convention or an anime
She said there was
convention.
an
or something
anime
like that?
convention
Yeah.
and then something else too.
So,
but I was like, I had no idea, or else I might have went. Maybe I would have went a little earlier.
well,
Yeah.
At what point did you give up? At what point you're like, I'm not
When
going?
I looked at the clock and it was 8:10, and I was still circling. I was nowhere close to a parking spot.
What time does the show start?
8.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Ugh,
and if it was
that
anything
sucks.
like Jerry Seinfeld show, Mario Jr. came out at 8:05. 8:20, Jerry Seinfeld was out there. I was out of the theater by 9:35.
Did you stay over on Friday night?
I left.
In Borgata?
Yeah. Mike,
Yeah.
my cousin Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How's he doing?
He's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. In 6 months, it's been 6 months since the operation. He's lost 150 pounds.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, dude,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's doing really well. So
Good.
yeah, I was proud of him. Yeah, so he came with me. He didn't go to the show though. He gambled a little bit, and I went to the show, and he said he should have went to the show instead of gambling.
Oh, I forgot that. So we went out last night to dinner with Brian and his wife and our other
old
friend,
producer, Brian.
and Chris and Pam. And so we went out to dinner out in Lambertville or whatever out that way. Then we went to Parks. Christine won $800 in a slot machine. Chris won $800 in the slot machine, and Michelle won $500 in 2 different slot
Wow.
machines, 301, 200. And of course, she was pissed. She was like, "I wanted to win 800." I'm like, "You won $500." Now, of course, I lost 100 at blackjack. Brian lost 100 at blackjack, so we were
gosh.
canceling out
Yeah.
their wins. But I've never seen such gigantic slot machine
That's
wins.
nice, yeah.
It was nuts.
Every
man.
now and then I'll hear from my mom or whatever, like my mom hit this or my Aunt Janet hit this for this.
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
always,
Whatever,
you know,
so it's
Michelle and I talk about that as we're leaving the thing. I'm like, you know, these guys gamble all the time. You only hear about the wins. You only hear about the wins. Oh my God, I won $800 tonight. I won $1,000 last night. It's not I sit at home on my phone and lose like 400 every single night and stuff like that. You know, you never hear about those
That's
stories.
insane.
There
Well,
are people like that.
You have to. That's what I notice is like if I go to the casino with friends, I'm a very like conservative. Like,
Yeah.
only bet a little bit and not for very long. But then it's like my friends that just throw stuff down constantly. Those are the people that'll. I had a friend hit a slot machine for like $3,000 on like the
It's just like a
fourth or fifth.
random one.
Yeah,
pool
because
kind of thing.
he's been throwing stuff down. You got to
Sure.
lose a lot
Yep.
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that get lucky. They never go to the casinos and they put a quarter and they win
Not
$1,000.
me.
But that is
Look, the
super
more you
duper
play,
rare.
the more you're going to win. So that's the thing. The more you
Yeah.
play,
I'm not
what the-
doing that.
That's what the casino wants you to think.
Yeah.
That's why you got to
Casino-
bet with your head. not
Casinos
over
are
it.
built around people being bad at math.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
What have you
that's all.
watched? And,
I tell you, all I watched was shows like
Oh, all right.
continuation
So then
shows.
basically, I guess I could tell everybody to go to Spreaker and download, rate, subscribe, review, do all those fun things. We're the exciting and new podcast on all our socials. The Jazoo over there on Instagram, Jazoo74 on Twitter. This has been the exciting and new mini podcast, and I'm Jason.
AE Gonzo1 on Twitter, AE Gonzo1970 on Instagram. I'm Andy.
Dana Caps on TikTok and Twitter, and Dana Caps on 77 on Instagram. I'm Dana.
VHS_graveyard on Instagram, and I'm Zach.